Well, I'm kind of in the middle of a project here that I put off for a long time. Uh, my hydraulic seals have been leaking on this for a couple of years. Not so much on these front bucket ones. This is on my Belarus tractor, but it's a Leon loader. Yeah, a Canadian-made loader. But they've been leaking, yeah, well, you just add a little, add a little, add a little. Well, the spring when the snow went down, I noticed I got a half dozen buckets, 5-gallon buckets of that had hydraulic oil in them that I have used up over the last couple of years. Well, that's kind of a waste of money and an annoyance. So I figured, okay, I'll just replace them all and be done with it. Because they really aren't hard to work on. I guess the worst part is to get them apart. You need to have something to clamp them in. Well, I tend to just leave the pins, use the pins, and then get a wrench on them and take them apart. But they're fairly straightforward. There's a seal inside, seal on the outside, and you got a couple of seals that go on this that goes on the shaft. And there's O-rings and stuff. But they're pretty straightforward. I did have a little trouble finding these main seals, the big ones. I was trying to find them online. I couldn't find them, so I ended up going into a place and buying them. But I'm hoping these are the right ones. It was hard to get them. I don't know why. These are a common loader. And when I look at them, they're the right size, but they aren't quite as wide as the old ones were. They'll be a little loose in that groove. There'll be a little movement in there, which really shouldn't matter because it seals both ways. So I'm hoping they're the right ones because they were, I think, like $17 a piece, and it takes 8 of them to do the whole loader. And it took forever to get them in. So, I don't want to have to go through that again. It was funny, too, because, I went in this hydraulic place that ordered them. They said, yep, they'll be here. I went in on Friday. They said, they'll be here on Monday. Went in on Monday. Nope, they weren't there. So I waited. Then on Friday, I called again. Well, they still weren't there. Well, finally, then they looked it up and said, oh, it'll be in on Monday. So it was a week. So it wasn't. It's like every time if you order something overnight, it's probably going to be 3 days before you actually see the part, But it was funny because when I first went in there, with this virus, everything is, a lot of people are like laid off. And a lot of people really like being laid off. If you're on unemployment, they're actually making more than when they were working. So I'm sitting there waiting, and the one guy's measuring the stuff, and then the guy who was like managing the place, he comes up, asks if somebody help me. I said he's measuring that part. Well, he said, and I'd overheard him earlier talking to another guy saying he's got a hell of a time to get people to work. Nobody wants to come in. Even the ones that come in aren't really happy to be there. They'd sooner be off. It just, people kind of like that idea. So he walks up to me there. He says, well, as long as you're sitting here, you want to fill out a job application? And he was only half kidding. He was looking for people who would actually come in and work. Because his regular workers really didn't want to come back. Which is a funny situation to be in. I see a lot of places where there's job openings, but it's because the workers that did have the job are laid off and they don't want to come back. Really, it would have nothing to do with the virus except that it's more profitable for them to be off. Because like I say, this virus has very little effect around here. So anyway, that's the story. I'm hoping these buggers will go on there and stay on there and work, because I don't want to have to go through that pain in the ass ordering again. It took them a long time to measure these, and these are supposed to be the right ones, but like I say, I don't really like the look of that. Though in theory it should seal, so we'll see. A ridiculously simple seal, I mean, there's not even, it's, just a rubber thing. You could 3D print these things. I don't know what was so difficult about that. But if they work, at least I got the part number, so next time I can order them online instead of having to go through that. And there it says made in USA. But in the long run, I figured, okay, it'd be nice to have these all not leaking, because that was getting to be a nuisance. Every time you're going to do something, you have to add a little fluid in it. Like I say, this spring when the snow melted, I saw this whole collection of buckets. Yeah, that's about time, because that's a lot of money just thrown away, leaked out on the road. Belarus is notorious for leaking. Spoiled the tractor. But like I say, this loader is Canadian made, and a common loader. Though, they do seals go out on them. But like I say, I know two neighbors that have these exact same loaders on different tractors. Because I think they must have been fairly low priced, but it's a good loader. I really like the fact that it comes on and off very easily. It's not a big job to take the loader off, which is why a lot of times in summer I was running it without the loader on. If I didn't need the loader for a particular job, I'd take it off, then I wouldn't leak all that fluid out. I could just shut the hydraulic system off. But I got a lot of work I need to do with the loader, so I got to put it back together. So much about this, okay? What I was really going to talk about, I thought it was funny. I've seen this many times before. I think the last video I did on this channel was about that Volkswagen motor. Now, commonly when I do something like that, that's going to be of limited interest. There's only so many people who are really going to care about a 40-horse Volkswagen motor. And whenever I do that, make a video that I know will be of limited interest, I always get a notice from YouTube on the creator thing. Oh, that this video isn't drawing as much, just isn't getting the traction like some other video had got, And I always think it's funny because I really don't care about that. If I can make a video, if somebody asks me a question and I make a video in reply to something, for one person, if it can help one person, that's all I really care about. It doesn't, I'm not going to try to make popular videos. It's that lowest common denominator thing. I mean, that's where you end up with just mediocre crap, So my videos is not going to be stuff that's going to be of interest to everybody. But to the people who are interested in that particular subject, yeah, it might be, So, but that's why I'm not afraid if somebody asks a question on something, I'll often do a reply to some obscure, to the general public obscure thing, but it might be of interest to other people. And there's always the factor that you have to look at that. There are a lot of times when a video that you don't think you could learn something from, you'll pick up some small thing that will be valuable later. Things are all kind of tied together. So you really, you can't dismiss a video just because the title isn't a thing of interest to you. Like I have no idea what I'm going to title this one, but I try to title it something that reflects on what I'm doing. I don't do the clickbaity kind of things because I'm not in this for views. I try to be helpful if I can. So like I said, a lot of times the video could be intended for one person. But if somebody else picks up, that's all the better, But it's just funny that, YouTube is always pushing it. It wants you to make videos that are popular to a wider audience. Well, I suppose because that's where they, then they make more on their advertising of it, and it's, But I really don't care. I'm not trying to make a living off YouTube. You know, it's always back to that theory. If I can make enough to pay my phone bill, that's all I care about, because I need the phone to upload the videos. But the rest I don't give a crap about. I'm not going to start making or trying to make videos that have mass appeal. It's easy to do, but it's a bad thing to get into. You know, I see it all the time. I see where people push for that. You know, try to make videos that will appeal to a wider audience, and they just lose their edge completely, you know, and become of no interest anymore. Well, I'm not going to do that. Just keep doing what I'm doing. But now, put this whole contraption back together. It was nice in that the design of this loader, all of the cylinders, both the lift cylinders and the bucket cylinders, all use the same setup. It's just a different length of cylinder, but the shaft size is the same, the seal size is the same. That makes it a little easier. But that's when I ordered these, you know, like I said, it takes 8 of them. Well, I ordered 10. Well, like I screwed that up too, because when it come, there was only 8 of them. But at least, you know, I can make it work with the 8, and now I have the part number. But I have run into this kind of thing before. In fact, I'm waiting for something from FedEx now that was a screw up. I think what has happened is, because of this virus thing, all of the competent people are off. And the people that are working are evidently incompetent, because they will screw up an order so quick. You know, and I hate that when, you know, I ordered a weird players thing for, I'll show you that sometime, but it's for doing body work I need for on that Volkswagen. I ordered that and another part. Well, when it came, here's 2 pliers, not the other part. Now I'm waiting for the other part to show up. Now I have to return this extra pliers. This annoys me. I don't work for them. I don't want to do their job. Do it right the first time. Don't drag me into your mess. You know, I find that annoying. You know, it gets to the point where I'm almost thinking, well, I should just buy this other plier so I don't have to, because otherwise I have to go into town, find UPS, print out some special return label. You know, it's a lot of running around for them doing a sloppy job. But that's just the way it is. You see more and more of that. In fact, every time you go into a place like UPS, it's full of people lined up returning Amazon crap. You know. So I really hate that. You know, the pliers ain't that expensive. I think I might end up just buying that one so I have 2 of them and don't have to deal with their nonsense. But it just irritates me. Now back to work. Got a sunny day anyway.